Hello, I'm the Movie Maestro, and welcome to another one of my film reviews. This one covering a special type of filmmaking package, the work of the Cohen brothers. I think it's pretty safe to say that I really enjoy the work of the Cohen brothers. Their fascination with the little quirks of life, the surprisingly mundane and yet simultaneously making sure that the films have some sort of thought-provoking edge to them, as well as their love of both establishing comedy and drama all at once. And yet, in spite of that, never really making the same film twice. Hard quality to come across. It's because of this that I feel like I need to express my opinions on at least two of their films. And so, let's start off with their 1996 movie Fargo. A car salesman played by William H. Macy is desperate for money, so thanks to his connections with a mechanic of his who was a former convict, he is able to make contact with two criminals, one of them played by Steve Buscemi in one of his first ever film roles. Through them, he makes a deal with the criminals to have his wife be kidnapped by said criminals in exchange for half of the $80,000 ransom, as well as giving the criminals a new car, not letting on that he intends to take a much larger sum of money off of his very rich father-in-law. Of course, like a lot of crime movies, things don't exactly go according to plan, and the hijinks takes its toll, especially when the involvement starts from a very awkward, to say the least, police detective who gets in on the act, played by Frances McDormand. It sounds like a very, very simple setup for a film. And it is a very, very simple film. The thing with the Coen brothers, though, is they somehow know how to make even the most simple things feel important. All of these small bit part characters have a point in some capacity. There's always some sort of connection to an upcoming event, yet it never feels forced. That combined with the fact that it feels like glimpsing into reality in many cases. There's nothing really that over the top about what goes on. And yet, there's a natural feeling of humor and drama to it that's still very cinematic. It's not a very easy thing to do, and yet somehow the Coen brothers are able to pull it off very well, and this film is a good example. In many ways, it's also a good example of both a film noir and an anti-film noir. For one thing, the characters are all very likable, but there's not really a lot of demons to overcome for a lot of them. They just are the way they are. Also, the cinematography is not very dark. If anything, it's very bright because it takes place in a bright, snowy landscape. It is effectively brought to life through Roger Deakins' enjoyably unique style of cinematography that would lend itself well to the majority of the Coen brothers' works. Also, the dialogue isn't exactly all that snarky as one would expect in such a circumstance either. I mean, there are a lot of enjoyably cheesy lines, but they feel like the kinds of things that a lot of people would say in such circumstances at the same time. So, in many ways, this is another one of those many films that captures that love of mundanity, if that's even a word, that the Coen brothers really admire, and for that I have to congratulate this movie. There's really not that much to it, yet it's still very entertaining. On the whole, I'd say give this one a watch. If you like your films being over the top, then this might not be your main preference, and indeed the Coen brothers are something of an acquired taste, but if you like films that poke fun at awkward, mundane situations and give it some sort of a cinematic plot device, then this will definitely be worth your time. In many ways, it's a very entertaining film. It looks great, it's got very enjoyable characters, particularly Frances McDormand, who's one of the most entertainingly awkward film characters I have ever seen. And there's plenty to offer in just a simple, nice little experience in the world of crime film that feels both realistic but not really that uncomfortable, at least not in a very uncomfortable way. So, on the worth meter, I'd give this a worth renting at least. And out of 5 stars, I'd give this 4 out of 5. I won't call this the best of the Coen brothers movies, but I definitely enjoyed watching it. Thank you for your time.